Good afternoon, Fort Belvoir. This is Margot Preja, and I am the principal at Fort Belvoir Primary.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jamie Shanetta, and I'm the principal at Fort Belvoir Upper.
We are here to talk to you a little bit about the school year, and I know that there is a lot of talk of schools being closed, but while the school building is closed, school itself is not closed, and school is going to continue, and it will look a little bit different after spring break than it has in this intermediate time between the time when the school building closed and now. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to explain to our families and to our students a little bit what you can expect from distance learning.
Yes, we realize that there is no replacement for the time that our teachers and students have together in the normal school day. We miss our students greatly. We know our teachers miss them too, and they would much, much rather be in school all together with our children, your children. But in the new normal that we're all facing as a nation, we're grateful for at least this opportunity so that we can continue to connect with our students and keep learning going in a new and different way for all of us.
So when we think about distance learning, there are three groups of people. There are the teachers, the students, and then families. And the reality is all of this is brand new for all of us. So the teachers are learning they've been involved in really intensive training over the last 2 weeks to learn how to use the tools to make learning accessible to kids while they are in their homes. For students, there will be a learning curve as well. That it's different in interacting in a classroom, and so how they manage their time and the sense of community within the online environment is a little bit different than obviously sitting next to your friends in the classroom. And so there'll be a learning curve for the kids. And then for families, many of you are juggling students at multiple grade levels, and we'll talk in a little bit more detail how we tried to be mindful of that as we created schedules and have some workarounds that hopefully will make it a little bit more family friendly, because we do recognize that oftentimes you may have one laptop that a couple of kids might be working off of, and so we tried to be mindful to make it as manageable for families as well, because this is a stressful time for everybody. And so hopefully once we get this up and rolling and everyone gets used to it, hopefully it won't feel quite as stressful as it does right at this moment.
Yes, I really like this slide a lot, that because we have, it kind of spells out the responsibilities for each group. Our teachers are creating those lessons and they're providing that direct and guided instruction for students. Students are learning independently at home, and they're dedicating a little bit of time each day to participate and focus in on their learning. And then, of course, our families and caregivers are related to our scheduling time with, for each of the children, and, helping to avoid those conflicts with the resources and so forth. And I'm sorry, I'm a little discombobulated on this slide. Our dog is suddenly acting up, as I'm sure is normal in all of your families when you've got children underfoot and animals coming in and out. We are all kind of working into this new normal and assimilating those little challenges that come into each learning day. So please know that we are also a work in progress, and we understand that we're all just trying to make it work in this new normal. So thank you for your patience with me as well.
So there are a couple of different things that I think many people have been aware of the printed packets. So distance learning really is a combination of the packets that will be sent, and those packets are sent and were created by instructional services, and they will be sent directly to the home. And those are designed for students to be able to independently practice the skills that are focused on for that particular week. There also are some other resources that I'm hoping you may or may not be available, but you may or may not realize are available, but we wanted to bring to your attention. There is a cable channel, channel 21, and there are video lessons that accompany the content in the packet. So if you needed some additional reinforcement, that would be an option in terms of a resource you could use. When we talk in detail about the schedule, we'll talk about what virtual learning looks like with the teachers, as well as those office hours for individualized instruction and support. Specials teachers will also have information and lessons that they're adding so kids can still access the PE teachers and the great ideas that they have, the art teachers, the music teachers. And then there'll be additional resources that are posted through Blackboard if your child maybe was struggling with something, there would be some remediation resources and extension resources and just a ton of available resources that we're hoping are in a pretty easy to navigate format for families and even for kids to learn how to do that independently.
Exactly. And what I like about this slide is it kind of lays out the change that's happening over time. The last day of school we had together was March 12th. Since then, we have been in kind of a mode where students have been invited to do some really great activities that our Office of Instructional Services has been posting on FCPS 24/7 on Blackboard and on Channel 21. There's been a lot of choice activities that children can do to stay engaged with learning during this time while all of the rest of the world was trying to figure out our new normal as far as what learning is going to look like in a distance learning environment. We are now shifting to a more structured and organized plan that has a specific schedule where we know that kids and teachers will be learning together and presenting not just review material but also new material. Our instructional services department has identified those essential elements of fourth quarter. As we know, students will be learning from home. We're really going to hone in on those skills that are absolutely integral for the students to learn as they progress to the next grade level. And those skills will be presented through this distance learning format. So students will see some review that's coming to them and also new material that's coming to them, both through these learning packets that are going to be sent home and through those online experiences that our teachers will be offering. As well as Ms. Freya said, Channel 21 is going to be there. That is the FCPS channel, and there will be lots of resources that are offered on Channel 21 for kids to keep in touch with instruction there. Please keep in mind that you don't have to have cable to see Channel 21. It's also available as a streaming link through the Fairfax County website. So even if you don't have it on your regular cable system, you can access FCPS Channel 21 for elementary students through FCPS website. There's also Channel 25 for middle school students and Channel 99 for high school students, if you didn't already know that. But we are going to make that shift into distance learning where teachers will be posting assignments and they'll be interacting with students. So it's a little bit of a shift over what's been going on for the last 2.5, 3 weeks, where that's been more of an invitation for students to continue their learning through review and engagement in topics that interest them. Now we're going to be moving into a little more of a structured learning environment with these dedicated packets with essential standards that we're going to be facing in the fourth quarter, both in packet and through virtual instruction with our teachers. So we're going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit more about that schedule and what that schedule will look like over the next 9-week period, what fourth quarter is going to look like. And again, this schedule will start after spring break. So we'll start with Ms. Brea talking to you about the primary schedule, and then I'll talk to you about upper.
So beginning on Monday, April 13th is a teacher work day, and that will be their opportunity to refine and to finish posting things. And so beginning Tuesday, April 14th, this is what the schedule will look like. Again, both primary and upper, we tried to stagger those virtual teacher-directed instruction blocks as well as the virtual office hours. Again, just being mindful that many of you have multiple students that you're trying to manage at once. So I'm just going to pick a grade level. I'll pick first grade, for example, right there in the middle. First grade will start their day out with independent learning. And so there may be some assignments that the teacher has posted on Blackboard that your child could be accessing. It could be that they are doing that independent practice that the packet provides during that independent block. So from 9 to 10, they'll be working independently. From 10 to 11, you'll have virtual teacher-directed instruction. And so what that will look like through the Blackboard tool, there is something called Blackboard Ultra. And what it allows is for the teacher and groups of students to be able to interact virtually. And so the first half hour will be a focus on reading or writing, and then the second half hour will be a focus on math. And so the teachers will be teaching a lesson at that point. Let's say it's a writing lesson. The teacher will remind the students what materials they need for that lesson. She or he will deliver the lesson for the students. There'll be an opportunity for students to use their microphone microphone to, if they have a question, they're able to ask a question at that point. At the end of that half-hour block, a different group of teachers will come in and they will teach a lesson focused on math. This is a grade level approach, so the first grade teachers will be teaching those virtual lessons. What we are asking teachers to do is to make sure that they record each of those lessons and then they will post that link. So let's say, for example, at 10 o'clock you have a first grader and you're not able to access the computer at 10 o'clock, or you have an appointment and you miss the lesson that day. Those lessons will always be recorded as well, so that you can go back and access. Or if you're looking at it and you want to double check, wait, what did the teacher say about that? What exactly were they supposed to be doing? You have that capability. As soon as the teacher finishes that virtual teacher directed instruction, they will upload the link so that you're able to go back and see that. From 11 to 12 is lunch, and then some kind of an activity break, because it is a long time. An hour is a long time for first graders to be focused, and that way they have a bit of a brain break there. Again, we go back from 12 to 1 to that independent learning. The teacher in her lesson or his lesson may give some activities for the students to do that would be hyperlinked as well through Blackboard, or they could be working on the packet. Or again, it might be if you missed maybe your child for 30 minutes, maybe you want to break up those lessons and then they watch the video recorded version of that. There'll also be some video recorded lessons for science and social studies, so that might be a time that you view those as well. The virtual office hours are the opportunity for you with your child's classroom teacher to be able to interact and to interface. So that could look all sorts of different ways. It could be the classroom teacher invites all of the students and they could have a morning meeting, or in this case it would be an afternoon meeting where they come and they talk about what they've been doing. The teacher might do a read aloud. It could be an opportunity for the teacher to touch bases with you as a parent to say, on this particular day I'm going to reach out and communicate with these 5 families, just to touch base, see what questions do you have, how is your child doing, are there any questions around the content, how are they doing emotionally, just to really get that sense of how they're doing with the content, but also how they're doing in a more general sense as a child, as a young child in particular, processing what's happening. From 2 to 3, for our students with IEPs, that would be the virtual office hour time for our special education teachers associated with that grade level. So again, you could expect to reach out to the teacher. The teacher may pull a small group virtually to be able to work on some targeted skills. If you have a student that is a general ed student that is not accessing special education services, that would be another block of time when they could work on that independent learning. Again, it might be something the teacher's assigned, it might be something from the packet, but we just wanted to make sure that we had a block of time when our students with IEPs were able to access that direct support from the special education teacher, in addition to accessing the support from the general education teacher. So across all of the grade levels, you can see what that looks like. Again, if you're juggling multiple kids at once, we are asking teachers, requiring them to record those sessions so that it gives you some flexibility to be able to work on that. I do want to point out that this schedule district-wide is Monday through Thursday, and so Friday is a day for our teachers. They have required team meetings. They'll be doing their planning for the next week. That's an opportunity for you if you felt like, gosh, this is just a bit much. We're not able to accomplish all of this during one day, and you want to break it up and you have a little bit of additional time. Maybe they didn't quite finish the packet, or they really wanted to go back and look at some of the additional resources that the teachers had. Friday would be a day when you would be able to access all of those additional kind of makeup opportunities.
Great, thank you. That's a great explanation for primary. Uppers is very, very similar, our schedule. Notice the time is a little bit different though. We are going to start at 8:30 in the morning. We don't have buses coming in or anything like that. We do feel like if we could go ahead and get started, we're going to go ahead and take advantage of that time for these older kids. So from 8:30 to 3:30, Monday through Thursday, we will be learning at Upper. And again, that Friday schedule is that makeup time for students to go and make sure that they've done everything that they're doing. There's that independent learning time on Fridays. And that is the time for our teachers to be engaging in their learning team, teams, engaging in planning, doing staff development. This is a whole new way of learning for our teachers as well, and it really does take a lot of time and thought and planning, and those Fridays are those opportunities for those teachers to reach out and you know, get with those resources. So every Friday is like a teacher work day. And students are learning independently. But again, Monday through Thursday, you'll notice that our schedule is staggered the same way that the primary schedule is. In the morning, each morning, the students have 2 hours of independent learning, where again, they can work on those learning packets, or they can work on assignments assigned by their teacher. And then there's also an hour that is virtual teacher directed. That's when the teacher is online and live and calling the class together. And the students might be starting with a morning meeting or a morning message. They could be doing some number sense routines. They could be doing some mini lessons and reading and math, and so forth. So that teacher is online, is interacting in a live format during that yellow virtual teacher directed block. At Upper, we only have 3 grade levels so it's pretty easy to all be off at the same time for lunch and activities. So that's a nice thing. And then again, in the afternoon, you'll see that there are virtual office hours. So that is a time where teachers can pull small groups. They might do a small group guided reading or a small group math support, or they could be working individually with particular students who might be struggling in certain areas, or contacting parents as needs may be. You'll also see that there is a green block in the afternoon also, and that is for that student who may need ESOL or IEP support. So it's a student who's either getting extra services from our English as second language teacher, or our or English speakers of other language teachers, sorry, or our special education support teachers. So that support is offered during those green blocks. And then again, you'll see another blue block for independent learning, where they can catch up on assignments that are being posted. And also our specialists at the upper level, all of our specialists, art, music, PE, library, AAP, and so forth, they are all going to be uploading lessons each week that are assigned to grade levels for the students to complete, that at their availability during those blue blocks as they're independent learning, they can get their specials assignments done. And each of the specials teachers will also post when they will be live, just to do a quick check-in with students who may have questions about what's going on in that special, such as strings or band or art or so forth. So the specials teachers will be posting when they'll be live. I mean, you'll want to look out for that, because that's really good instruction. And students really like that time with those teachers as well. I mean, they like it with all of our teachers, but we want to make sure that they're staying in touch with all of our teachers. So that's the schedule for Upper. Again, if you have questions about the schedule, please don't hesitate to reach out to your child's classroom teacher to ask those questions, or send a quick email to either Ms. Pareja or me, and we can help you kind of figure it out. That's our schedule. So let us know if you have questions. Okay.
We'll also send a copy of this out through email tomorrow, Friday, so that way you have it if you want to put it up on the refrigerator or what have you, or just have it in an easier format to be able to access. We'll make sure we send that out tomorrow.
Yep, and I want to make one little tiny change to ours, because the green block should also say ESOL. It should say ESOL and IEP support. Our ESOL teacher asked me to make that change last night. I completely forgot, but we'll make sure that gets in there before it's posted as a document on our website. Okay, moving on really quickly. I wanted to make you all aware, when you log into 24/7 as a parent view, parents do have a login as well as their students have a login. And when you get onto parent view, you can see that there are links there that the central office people have put up for us, such as what the help system kind of looks like, how you can request support, what software or hardware might be helpful to your students if you're able to purchase those things. There's a parent resource center, and then there's a lot. If you can see on the right-hand side, there's an icon there, which is the entire continuity of learning plan, the distance learning plan. You can just click on those elementary resources. You can see all kinds of central office supported resources that have been uploaded over the last couple of weeks. We know that a lot of you have already done this. I think I read that over 1.5 million hits on that site since we have been out of school. That students and families jumping on. And sorry if you keep hearing the beeping. We're supposed to be in another meeting in a minute, but we're still recording, and that's okay. We're doing it live. Okay. So we do hope you'll look at the resources that are available to parents on Blackboard, and have your students log in as themselves and show you the resources that are available to them. Your students can show you each grade level's website and all of the lessons that the teachers are uploading and the announcements and so forth. So we hope you'll take a second with your student to sit down and familiarize yourself with the layout of each grade level's page. Okay.
And if you have any difficulties logging in, this is the platform that is going to be used for distance learning. And so if you have any issues logging in, if you have any difficulties, please reach out to your child's teacher through email, and they can, we have tech specialists at both schools that are so responsive and so quick about helping you to make sure you know how to log into that. So if you're not sure how to do that, if you're having any difficulties, please don't hesitate to reach out, because it's really important that you're able to access this, because everything for the distance learning, other than the packets that are mailed through home, will come through this portal. And so any difficulties, please just reach out and we can help you with that for sure.
And especially, it's probably true at primary as well, but certainly it's true at upper. A lot of our teachers still have their Google Classrooms up and running, and they will continue to link lessons to their Google Classroom site. But this is home base. FCPS 24/7 Blackboard is home base. That's where all the assignments will be posted. And if there's something that you need to link out, if you need to click the link to go out to the Google Classroom, they'll provide that link for you. So as long as you know that this is home base, FCPS 24/7, as long as you check in there, you should.
Sorry about that delay. Hopefully Ms. Janetta is reconnecting, and I believe that we are still recording. So in terms of those centrally created materials, there are learning packets that hopefully at this point in time you have received them in the mail. I know that there were a couple of families, they were sent out. The very first set of packets, the first iteration of packets, were sent out on Monday, March 30th. So hopefully everybody has received them at this point in time. I know I saw on social media that some families had and some hadn't. I think being patient with the Postal Service, they're probably inundated at this point in time with all of the deliveries that are happening, and so we appreciate your patience with that. Those should come directly to home. Again, they also, through Blackboard, there's also that availability there, and so if you misplaced a packet, or if it didn't come in a timely manner, or you were struggling with it, whatever may be the case, you're also able to access those packets there. In terms of instructional videos, again, you have a combination of things that you can access through Channel 21, which are created by Instructional Services, and then there will be the videos that your own child's and grade levels teachers are creating to be able to support the instruction for that day. So again, the packet is an opportunity for independent practice, and the teachers will be delivering content that supports those essential standards that have been identified for those packets, in the creation of those packets, as well as introducing new content. So I'm going to go ahead and advance to the next slide. This shows a schedule of when the packets are actually being delivered. So if you see, March 30th, as I mentioned, was when the first set was packet should have been mailed out, so it should be arriving again any day. That was a review of previously taught content. The next week is spring break, so there will be no packet that is sent, and then you can see there how the packets, the delivery, the week of the instruction, and then the estimated delivery date. Again, if let's say the estimated delivery date is April 11th and you haven't received it, that information is available through Blackboard as well, so you don't need to worry about that. In terms of accountability and grading, Ms. Chinetta, are you there?
I am on the phone now because my computer is now saying I have no internet available. My computer just crashed.
So we are trying to model all of the things that can happen in distance learning. The dog barks, your computer crashes. Neither of us have little ones, although Ms. Chinetta will have a grandbaby at some point this spring, so maybe more into the summer. But So things happen. I mean, that's the reality of distance learning, that things happen, and sometimes you just have to roll with it. So in terms of the next slide, accountability and grading. For grading purposes for the third quarter, there will be nothing that is graded after March 13th. That was the day of closure for third quarter. There will be no fourth quarter grades assigned, and that is because there are issues of equity around not all students have access to the technology. There's an inability for students to be able to submit work in a meaningful way that is done independently. Especially the younger the child, the more challenging this is. So, thinking about kindergarten and first grade, to be able to for the teacher to be able to assess through this format would be hugely challenging. And so teachers are expected during those office hours to provide feedback on their students' learning. If you have questions, if your child is struggling with something, that would be the opportunity for the teacher to give feedback at that point in time. Ms. Chinetta, did you want to add something?
As far as the grading, yes, I think you did a great job of explaining it. We know that while we can't assign like a number grade or a letter grade, this learning is super important that we're doing in fourth quarter. We are introducing new concepts of those critical skills that students are going to need as they advance to the next grade level, and feedback will be provided. So I know it's a little tricky with students when they ask the question, is it graded? And the answer is not necessarily graded, but feedback will be provided. And students, especially our older students, your final grade for the year can trend a little bit. It can't trend negative, but it can trend positive. If a student is demonstrating that skill, that objective that is being measured on the elementary report card, and they're demonstrating understanding of that skill, their end of the year marks can reflect that learning that they were able to achieve in fourth quarter. Even though there's not a fourth quarter grade per se, their year marks can reflect the learning that they've achieved in fourth quarter. So while it is not a grade in fourth quarter, the end of the year marks can trend upward. There will be no penalty trend. So I just want to make sure people understand that. We understand that not all kids can access the learning all the time, and so that is the case. But we do want our students to be very engaged in learning, and we want them to be doing the lessons with their teachers. Thank you.
So the next slide is just a reminder that it is spring break. We are following the regularly established calendar of the school system, which had next week as spring break. Again, the Monday, the 13th, is a teacher work day, and so we will not be sending packets. Teachers will not begin posting those videos over spring break, and we hope that everyone just kind of takes a minute to pause during spring break. We know that this is a hard time. It's hard because of the uncertainty. We know that eventually this will end, but we don't know when, and we don't know the timeline for that. And it's hard when you are processing through all of these changes and you're helping your child to process through all of those changes as well. And so, we just encourage you to take a break and kind of regroup, and then that way the kids are ready as they would be in a normal school year to start back after spring break and to start the fourth quarter and to end the year in a way that is strong and positive.
I think I'm actually back on the regular computer now, so the regular laptop. So thank you for your patience with me as my laptop went down. But this is why this slide is so important, because the first message is what I'm trying to remind myself of right now, and that is we just don't forget to breathe. It's okay. We are going to have a million opportunities for growth as we go through this whole process of distance learning, and we are going to figure it out together. What's most important, truly the most important thing that we can do is to reconnect with our families, have our teachers reconnect with our students, to make sure that we all understand that we're in this together, to try to keep a schedule to help us manage the anxiety of what we're all going through, and to learn those new skills as we can. And we understand that we don't have all the answers right away, but we're going to get better as we go. So please, just just continue to breathe, know that it'll all work out. We're getting it to, we're giving it our best. Our teachers are absolutely giving it their best. They're super excited, but also a little anxious about this, just as we are. And we know as parents that this hasn't been easy for you either. We know that you are stepping into areas that you've not had these skills before either. So we totally get it. We just want to encourage you all to just keep breathing and laugh a little with us, because there's sure a lot to laugh at with all of this. Marco, what do you think?
That is for sure. I think it's that idea of also, this is a moment in time and we're doing the best that we can. And I think that we talk to the teachers about that all the time as well. And I think it's important to reiterate that to the kids, that this is all brand new and it's kind of scary to try something new sometimes. This is our new reality though, and we are going to be okay. We're going to work together, we're going to stay connected, and we will get through this. And we will try to maintain as much normalcy as we can, recognizing that this is a brand new normal. And so if there are any things that the school can do for you, if there's anything that you all need, we just want to also reiterate that this can also be very stressful. It puts a lot of different stressors on families in terms of worry. You might have one or both parents that have been designated as essential and they're going off to work. And I mean, there are just a lot of things that families are juggling now. And so our school counselors are still working, our psychologist is still working, our social workers are still working. If you need anything from the school, please let us know. We're able to deploy resources. It might look a little different, but the MFACs are still able to work. They're able to provide counseling through this virtual format. And we have a lot of resources, and we don't want people to feel like they're isolated and alone. Yes, you have to social distance, but you're not alone. And please let us know if there's something we can do to support you all. If you need to access any of those school personnel, they are available, and more than happy to reach out and to support either your child or yourself if there's something that we can do. And so we just hope that you remember that we are here as a part of this school community, as a part of the Fort Belvoir community. And if there's anything that you need or anything that we can do, please don't hesitate to ask.
Well said. Everyone, thank you so much. And I tell you, if this isn't real time, this isn't perfect. It's not edited. It's not going to be, but this is reality. And so just know that we're here with you. We're in it with you. Let us know if you have questions. And we just appreciate our families. We miss you. We love you. And we can't wait to see us all back together again just as soon as possible. So just know that we're thinking of you, and we appreciate all of your support to us and our teachers. Our teachers are amazing.
Yes.
And they are so excited to try this new way, but also pretty anxious too. So your encouragement and support of them means the world to us as well. So thank you for everything. Thanks for listening in, and we're sorry for the little the hiccups here and there, but thanks for sticking with us. All right. So we hope you all have a great day, and we're going to go ahead and stop recording. So thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.